Water. We all know that it is important to us. We use it all the time. We need it to survive. We drink it. We wash with it. We see it fall from the sky from time to time. But what really makes water work? Today we're going to learn about the interactions of water and do an experiment with it. So the penny experiment. You probably added water droplets to this penny, like seen in this video. And you can see that it bubbles up at the top. What could be the cause for this? Let's find out.
Start out by investigating some of the amazing properties of water. In order to do that, we're going to have to start out with this. The world's most popular molecule, or at least the world's most memorized molecule. We all know about it. Good old H2O. Two hydrogens, one oxygen. The hydrogens each sharing an electron with oxygen in what we call a covalent bond. So as you can see, I've drawn my water molecule in a particular way, and this is actually the way that it appears. It is V-shaped. Because this big ol' oxygen atom is a little bit more greedy for electrons, it has a slight negative charge, whereas this area here with the hydrogen atoms has a slight positive charge. Thanks to this polarity, all water molecules are attracted to one another. So much so that they actually stick together, and these are called hydrogen bonds, and we talked about them last time. But essentially what happens is that the positive pole around those hydrogen atoms bonds to the negative pole around the oxygen atoms of a different water molecule, and it's a weak bond. But look! They're bonding! Seriously, I cannot overstate the importance of this hydrogen bond. So when your teacher asks you, what's important about water? Start out with the hydrogen bonds, and you should put it in all caps and maybe some sparkles around it. One of the cool properties that results from these hydrogen bonds is a high cohesion for water, which results in high surface tension. Cohesion is the attraction between two like things, like attraction between one molecule of water and another molecule of water. Water has the highest cohesion of any non-metallic liquid, and you can see this if you put some water on some wax paper or some Teflon, or something where the water beads up, like some leaves of plants do it really well. It's quite cool. Since water adheres weakly to the wax paper or to the plant, but strongly to itself, the water molecules are holding those droplets together in a configuration that creates the least amount of surface area.
Key terms to remember: water, polar, hydrogen bonds, surface tension, and cohesion. These will be important for the following activities. Many of you probably have been here in this scenario. Your mom tells you to go wash some dishes. You get the soap, you apply it to the sponge, and you clean the dish. But what is going on here? Let's dig deeper. What interactions could be possibly going on here? What's causing it?
They're called surface active agents, or surfactants, molecules derived from fats that have both polar and nonpolar qualities. The classic surfactant molecule. It has a polar head and a long carbon chain for a tail. For the sake of demonstration, we'll use a bit of shorthand and transform our surfactant molecule into what we call a lollipop. If we could see what was happening at a molecular level, magnifying the molecules over 1 trillion times, and we added our lollipops, our surfactant molecules, to a beaker full of H2O, the surfactant molecules immediately go to the interface, and the polar heads, doing what nature likes, are drawn to the polar water molecules. But when the surface is saturated, when no more surfactant molecules will fit, something really interesting happens. In a sort of dance, the excess molecules find each other. The nonpolar tails all want to be together, and the polar heads all want to be together. And they form spheres called micelles. Now I'm sure you're thinking, that's all well and good, but how does it help me? For that explanation, we'll turn to the most well-known surfactant on the planet, soap. That's right, soap is a molecule derived from fats that has, ta-da, a polar head and a nonpolar tail. So, if instead of a beaker of water, we have a glass that contains not only water, but also remnants of cooking oil, and we add our soap or surfactant molecules, they do the same thing that they did before. But this time, the nonpolar tails of our soap molecules and the nonpolar oil molecules are drawn together. The oil is captured within the micelles and can now be easily rinsed away.
How do you think this boat is being propelled? There's no motor and there's no sail. It turns out that when we add soap to the end of this toothpick and place the toothpick in the water, something called the Marangoni effect pushes the boat.
So let's take a look at this representation of water molecules in a container. The bonds at the top are much stronger than they are elsewhere in the water. This is called surface tension, as we saw in the pennies. So the surface tension, we know, is proportional to the contractile force. That means that the surface tension is high, then the contractile force is high. The Marangoni effect occurs with two different substances. Let's say the soap is blue and the water is yellow. Let's place the soap in the middle, which is in blue, and the water around it, which is in yellow. We can say that the soap is a surfactant and the water is everything around it. The soap has lower surface tension than the water that has higher surface tension. Therefore, the contractile force of water is greater than the contractile force of soap. As you can see here in this animation, a better representation of the soap interaction with water, we can see once we put the soap in the middle, the water starts pulling away from the soap. So in our example that we did in the activity, you place the boat in the water and you place the soap in the hole. As the soap is dropped, the water will push away from the soap in this direction, move backwards, and then the boat will move in this direction, moving forwards. This is the interaction of Marangoni's effect. The key terms to remember for this activity are Marangoni's effect, surfactants, otherwise known as surface acting agents, micelles, and contractile forces. Boats. You've probably been in one. You probably haven't. There's so many boats with many different shapes and sizes. There are yachts, there are sailboats, tugboats, and even big ships. The big idea of this activity is to show that there's a relationship between the boat designs and hydrodynamics, the physics of how the water flows out of the channel and how the boat moves forward, and we saw that in the previous activity. As you can see here, boats tend to be long and narrow, with a deep keel to keep the boat from tipping when sailing in strong winds. They cut easily through water. Their shape helps them reduce drag or fluid friction on the boat as it moves through the water. As you can see here, this is displayed by the red, the drag of the boat. The goal is to make the best boat that is the quickest.
Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set,